It's time to sit back and check out the RCWR show with Lee Sanders. Get fun, in-depth coverage and analysis from the latest in professional wrestling in AEW, WWE, NWA, Impact Wrestling, or the world of entertainment. From hit TV shows to your favorite sports like the NBA or NFL. All things music, movies, and beyond, while trying to make sense of this crazy world we live in. All while keeping it honest, insightful, and interactive since 2011. And now your host, live from the nation's capital of Washington, D.C., Lee Sanders.
Whew. Hey guys, what is going on? My God, what's going on? Like, am I getting, I know it's not my seat. I think it's my webcam. I had moved my whole MacBook a couple of days ago so I could go do a computer coding class. Hang on. I think we got it. I think, no, I think we got it a little bit. Maybe right there. Yeah, is that about it? I think we're usually about right there. What's up, guys? Lee Sanders with you all for a special Saturday night live edition of the RCWR show for this final day in February 28th, 2026. We are just a couple of minutes removed from WWE Elimination Chamber. Came to us from the historic United Center in Chicago, Illinois, my old stomping grounds. A lot of fond memories when I think about Chicago. I don't get to go back to Chicago enough, as I have a lot of family and friends out there. I don't get to go back enough. I'm trying to change that. I really am. But yeah, it's in the books. Very long, very draining. By the end of this, I couldn't help but say, yeah, you know what? Going forward, WWE, they really strongly need to consider just eliminating a pay-per-view sandwich between the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania, because they definitely are showing that they really don't have those creative juices like that to really make things interesting, definitely from a creative standpoint. And it's interesting because I was curious what was going on with last year's Elimination Chamber, and that was a 4-match event as well, believe it or not. And yet, surprisingly, when you look at last year's Elimination Chamber event, it was by far better, definitely far superior than this year's Elimination Chamber. And that's really telling you something there, right? And it's not a case where last year's Elimination Chamber won by just a smidget of a hair or anything like that. It just comes off just in general, just every match, just the quality, just everything. Everything, it just checks off better compared to what we got this year. Although I give WWE credit, they try to give us a little bit of surprises here and there, just overall. Oof. So this is probably going to be one of the shortest pay-per-view post shows that I have done in recent years. I think when it's all said and done, I would be shocked if we even hit. This is how short I think this is going to be. I'd be surprised if we even hit the 25-minute mark for our pay-per-view post show, because I really do not have much to say in regards to this event. Let's go on ahead and get right into it. So first off, let us talk about the women's Elimination Chamber match. Looking at this one, comparing it to last year's Women's Elimination Chamber match, yeah, Last year's definitely kicked ass. Definitely kicked ass, right? It's probably going to be just the one last time you're going to hear me reference a comparison. If anything, if you want me to just overall looking at this year's Elimination Chamber, comparing it to last year's, you can sound off, let me know. In attendance at the United Center, 19,346 strong. So, a lot of good people showing up. You want to get a nice, good crowd into the mix of things, you definitely are in the right place when it comes to Chicago. Your women's elimination chamber match for a shot at the women's championship at WrestleMania 42. Rhea Ripley defeating Tiffany Stratton, Alexa Bliss, Asuka, Kiana James, Raquel Rodriguez. Came at about 23 minutes and some change. Look here. I think they did it right by going with Rhea Ripley for the winner. I know a lot of people were looking at who was that? My girl Tiffany Stratton. They were looking at her saying, "Oh man, it looks like she's going to be the one that's going to be winning this." And I trust me, I get the reactions that a decent amount of you guys had to Tiffany Stratton potentially winning this. And make no mistake about it, I definitely was on the let's just wait and see how this plays out with Tiffany. Cause yeah, right. And you really were led to the impression that Tiffany was definitely a lock for WrestleMania, and there's nothing wrong with having those impressions, especially after all, you saw how featured she was in the WrestleMania spot for the women, right? All of Becky Lynch, Liv Morgan, all those girls in that little WrestleMania hype video. And then Tiffany's in there as well. You're going, oh, okay, so she's gonna have a little bit of a marquee spot at this year's WrestleMania. Oh, okay, well, I guess that's cool, like whatever, right? But as we've seen with her being back, and Stratton hasn't even been back that long, but it's been relatively chilly, so to speak. So for WWE to pivot with Rhea Ripley is both good and it's bad at the same time. Okay. Because I tell you, as far as who really stood out to me during tonight's women's elimination chamber, I definitely got to give it up to Kiana James. Kiana James held her own in there. No flubbing going around whatsoever. I love how creative booked her very strong, very aggressive. Love seeing her eliminate Alexa Bliss. That got a nice little reaction from the crowd. Nice little thing to build off of, right? Oh, wow. Here's this newcomer in Kiana James. And just the way that they have been positioning her in recent months. And we've been talking about Kiana James off and on here on the show. But the fact that going into tonight's chamber, they made sure that she got some marquee wins where it counted the most in order to really build her up as a potential legit threat in this chamber match. Somebody that could definitely run away with the W here. I thought by having her eliminate Alexa Bliss, Bliss being the first one eliminated, I thought that really had set the tone as far as, anything can and definitely will happen in this style type of a match and everything. Then later on, we see Raquel and Rhea. They get into it. They brawl for a little bit, kind of picking up right where they left off. What was that? Sometime last year, it kind of feels like when Rhea and Raquel were going at it. Brief little exchange between Kiana and Rhea. As you had the whole trifecta, but I was more interested in seeing how Kiana was gonna gel there with Raquel, and she did pretty damn good. Raquel ended up sending Kiana through a pod with a running power slam. It was a sweet ass spot that went down there. From there, Raquel ends up doing the Tahana power bomb on Asuka into Kiana for a double elimination. That was a really sick, insane spot right there. Loved how Raquel was booked in this, the strong powerhouse, and I definitely felt she was gonna be a person that was gonna have a really good, strong showing in this match. Raquel Rodriguez, Mamacita, big Mamacita, did not disappoint whatsoever. Was quite pleased with her performance in this matchup. So you got those eliminations out the way there. You're now down to Raquel, Rhea, Tiffany. Rhea tries going for a cannonball into Raquel. Raquel tried to do a power bomb on Tiffany, but somehow Tiffany, uh, she manages to somehow wiggle her way out of that Raquel power bomb as Tiff ultimately follows up with a pretty moonsault, gets the cover on Raquel. It ends up being Rhea and Tiff to throw things down. In the finals there, Rhea drives Tiffany into a pod, followed by the Riptide, picking up the victory. So Rhea Ripley picking up the win. And just when you were really starting as a fan to go, okay, so when it's all said and done, WrestleMania 42, Las Vegas, is going to be Jade Cargill versus Rhea Ripley. And there's a big part of you as a fan that's going, well, this is great because it kind of seems like Rhea Ripley has just been in this weird little period, this weird little, I don't want to say purgatory because it's not really, but she's been at this certain placement in WWE where you're like, okay, they don't have her chasing after singles championship and all that. They got her doing her thing with EO and mixing it up in the tag division and all that other stuff. But like, no matter where you're trying to put Rhea Ripley, she still commands that attention. She still has that aura about her and everything. So when you see that Rhea Ripley picks up the win here, you're excited for the girl. But then you hear Michael Cole mention something where you go, "Oh shit! Well, you know what? Maybe variety is the spice of life and everything, right?" Because you're going, "Hey, they gave it to Rhea, right?" And you could make an argument. Well, it's kind of hard to criticize because I mean, look, they gave it to Rhea, but then you got Michael Cole. Soon as the match is over, he's going her, going for a title match in her fifth straight WrestleMania. And you're going, oh shit, maybe we kind of need some new blood going on here. You know what's even more baffling, what's even more interesting about the way this match had played itself out, all things considered? Now, look, if you're asking me straight up, Lee, who do you think should have gone over in this one? Honestly, I think you should have went with Raquel Rodriguez. I really do. Month in, month out, and she's been stringing it together for months now. Raquel has fucking delivered, over delivered, and then some. I really feel you should have gone in that direction. Not to mention, just kind of keeping up with the storyline continuity and everything. Remember what was going on between Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez, right? That little friction that's been going on there and everything. So, especially when you're looking at all the stuff that's been happening with Judgment Day over the course of the last couple of weeks and all that, would have been some really interesting dynamics coming from out of this weekend's chamber to see Raquel Rodriguez. She's getting her shot at WrestleMania against Jade Cargill for the championship. Meanwhile, Liv Morgan is going to be going after Stephanie Vakir for that women's championship. Damn, which woman in Judgment Day is going to go into WrestleMania and be successful, right? I mean, that essentially puts even more pressure on Liv Morgan to get the job done, right? Because one of the main reasons for Liv Morgan to ultimately penetrate the Judgment Day the way that she did, she saw the potential in the stable. She saw the value that she could bring to the stable with her name, right? and then singling out Dom and pretty much trying to make Judgment Day be that 1-2 punch and everything. Can you just imagine the friction that creates going into Monday? And now you got Liv and Raquel. Oh, girl, good luck to you. Oh, good luck to you too. Bitch. Right? I mean, that would have been really, really good because they've already been planting the seeds of friction there with Judgment Day, particularly with Liv Morgan. She don't really care about Raquel Rodriguez. She doesn't respect Raquel Rodriguez enough as far as, oh, you want to go after that World Heavyweight Championship? Well, you go, girl. Hey, Roxanne Perez. Oh, you want to be a World Heavyweight? Oh, well, you go ahead, girl. I'm not trying to mess with that. No, we see right through Liv Morgan's bullshit. So WWE kind of missed the ball a little bit, I feel, in really kind of painting that narrative, so to speak. So really, really interesting how they laid all that out. But Rhea Ripley, Jade Cargill. I mean, look, powerhouse versus powerhouse. It should be a really good match. Rhea has been in this position so many times that she will definitely be able to quarterback this match and put out there a really good effort by Jade Cargill, right? They got enough time to really work out whatever kinks they got to work out, right? But if WWE's ultimate goal is to get the championship off of Jade Cargill, because for lack of better words, her reign, it's met its course and it's just not really clicking for her. She needs to go back to the oven, bake a little bit more, whatever reasons they want to kind of spin out there. They got the right person in Rhea Ripley to put the championship on, right? But still, the variety, the spice of life. Enough said. Moving on. Next match. AJ Lee defeating Becky Lynch via submission for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. 15 minutes and some change. Look, I gotta say, I was under the impression that Becky Lynch was gonna retain right here. Foolish heart in me. But I thought that was the direction they were gonna be going in. No. So, am I concerned? For you big time Becky Lynch fans, should there be concern going into WrestleMania? No, guys, y'all gonna be okay. I think when it's all said and done, I'm putting out a spoiler right now. Becky Lynch is gonna win her championship back at WrestleMania. I'm really having a hard time picturing AJ Lee coming out of WrestleMania, still the women's intercontinental champion, and going on a short little run. Like I don't know why, but I'm having a hard time seeing that happen. I just am. Um, I'm just trying to think in regards to this match. I was looking at it and I was hoping that with all the stuff that I was seeing on social media involving Jessica Carr, that somehow Jessica Carr was not going to be involved in this. Another foolish heart in me, because Jessica Carr did get involved. I know at one point Becky had got the turnbuckle pad off in a corner. Something was about to go down later on after that, and Jessica was like, nope, it's not going down like that. Nope. So she intervened and everything, but she ends up taking a couple of bumps, does referee Jessica. And right when you see that happen, you're going, okay, so this is where the real shenanigans are going to begin here, huh? Like this is where we're going to see it all. Okay, all right, cool. Then at one point, the referee tries to check on that exposed turnbuckle, tries to reattach it or whatever. Ref gets taken out. Somehow Lee is able to slap in the Black Widow, makes Becky Lynch tap out, but the referee is nowhere to be found. Action spills outside the ring. Lynch ends up slamming Lee into the barricade, grabs a steel chair from under the ring. Lee tries to fight back whips Lynch into the barricade. Lee rolls Lynch back into the ring, goes for a tornado DDT. Lynch is able to block that. Lynch then hits Lee with a DDT onto the steel chair, kicks the chair out of the ring. I think she went for a manhandle slam, did Becky Lynch. Goes for the cover. Referee finally comes to. It's a near fall. Becky is beside herself. She can't believe that Lee was somehow able to kick out of this. And then Lynch tries to send AJ into the exposed turnbuckle. Referee is not having it. She's like, nope, nope, nope. Lynch tries to go for a splash in the corner, but Lee steps aside. Lynch slams face first into that exposed turnbuckle, hurries up, applies the Black Widow. Lynch taps out within seconds, as this time the referee does see the Black Widow submission hold, calls for the bell, and that's pretty much how that match wrapped itself up and everything. Not too shabby of a match for AJ, particularly. Again, we've seen AJ thus far. She's been involved in some tag matches here and there. So it was nice seeing her just at a pay-per-view, one-on-one, going with somebody. I mean, it's really funny when you think about it because AJ Lee just... Man, we haven't seen her wrestle on a regular basis in such a long time. And each time we have seen her involved in the ring, the ring rust, less and less and less. And with what I saw tonight of AJ Lee, I'm just going, damn. It almost feels like AJ ain't missed a beat. It almost feels like... no 10-year hiatus actually happened and everything. I think this was a quiet sleeper hit of a match for me. If there was one match out of the four that I had to go, you know what, I kind of like this one for what it was worth. Pretty decent. From there, the World Heavyweight Championship match between CM Punk defending against Finn Balor. First of all, I love the fact that CM Punk had got the United Center Chicago Bulls entrance. I would love to see that somehow be put in a video game because, man, I'm telling you. Now, look, we might not be able to do it on the game consoles, but we sure as hell can get that thing for PC, right? Put out enough little hacks, little coding and all that other good stuff. Oh yeah, and we definitely going to be able to get that. I mean, but the joint was so awesome because they had CM Punk come out to legendary Bulls introductions announcer Ray Clark. And if you're like me, you grew up on the NBA, you inhaled all things Chicago back in the 80s, but particularly the 90s, that Ray Clark, Ray Clay, I apologize. Legendary public address announcer, known for his iconic introductions for the Chicago Bulls, especially during the championship eras there in the 90s. So it was nice hearing him. I had to do a double take. I was like, wait a minute, is that Ray Clay? Is that? And then they had CM Punk come out to the serious music. I'm going, I popped hard on that like a mofo. You guys have no idea. It was freaking badass. I was under the impression that maybe we were going to get to see Demon Balor resurface here tonight. Say it with me, y'all. Foolish heart. Yes, foolish heart. Third time in a row. Foolish heart tonight. But no, look, I had a hard time stomaching the fact that Finn Balor lost cleanly in this match. I mean, 15 minutes later, like, he just lost cleanly. It really didn't sit well for me, but at the same time, I looked at this match and said, well, you know what? Not for nothing, but Finn Balor has definitely proven that he deserves to get a shot somewhere down the line. He deserves to get another run as the World Heavyweight Champion. Look, if Drew McIntyre can ultimately get another run, I'm looking at the 44-year-old Finn Balor, and I'm honestly saying, yeah, he's definitely gonna get one. If you would have asked me this 5, 7 years ago, I would have been like, nah, no way, no how. But it really seems like Balor has really matured as a character. I'm seeing a lot of things, and it's just the little things that really add up that really make you take a step back and go, nah, you know what? This Balor that's running around right now, no, this guy does have what it takes to be a world heavyweight champion and everything. And I'm hoping that maybe on the road to SummerSlam, this year SummerSlam, maybe that's when we'll ultimately see something happen there with Finn Balor. But he's definitely proven, with all the work that he's done these past several weeks, he's definitely proven to me, at least in my eyes, that he deserves to be in the main event picture much more than what currently has been happening to him. Solid match between Punk and Balor. Definitely a match I enjoyed, despite the fact that, we kind of knew what the outcome of this was going to be. I'm having a hard time stomaching the fact that Balor lost cleanly in this match, though. I really wish that we could have at least seen a cameo by Judgment Day members Dominic and JD, right? Kind of plays up to what we were talking about earlier in the night and everything, with Liv Morgan and Raquel, and this whole notion about, hey, Judgment Day, it is supposed to be about family, and all this other crap. In the Kevin in the chat, yeah, we mentioned that at the very top of the show. We opened up saying that Elimination Chamber 2025 was better overall than what we got with this year's 2026 Elimination Chamber. Yeah, definitely, Kev. You're not going to find anybody, at least here, that's going to be like, no, this year was better than, yeah. But yeah, this match between Punk and Balor, I really wish we could have seen Judgment Day members come out. That way you could really add even more friction into the mix and everything. And I just would have been nice to, because now you're going, so what's next for Finn Balor? He loses cleanly in the middle of the ring there with Punk, shakes his hand afterwards, right? And you're like, okay, so what's next? Now, we've been talking about it here on the show off and on, which is, okay, are they kind of teasing ultimately that Balor is maybe going to kind of come to his senses, and he's kind of deciding that maybe he wants to get back to basics and just kind of fly solo? That rubs Judgment Day the wrong way, and Judgment Day maybe in the process of all of that, this is how this guy becomes a baby face. Like, if that's the slow burn cooker of storytelling that Triple H, Paul Levesque and crew are trying to do with Finn Balor. But like, you look at what happened here tonight, and it was just kind of one of those, okay, I'm curious what's going to happen here with Balor. Like, you had some opportunities to try to do a little something here, outside interference. Like, hey, this was the main reason why Balor lost, but no, the way this was laid out by creative, no Judgment Day to try to come out and it backfires. None of that shit. Just Balor loses cleanly, but he's humble in defeat. Okay. All right, cool, I guess. Cool, whatever. Good match, but the outcome just really kind of rubbed me the wrong way with that one. Some of our guys are already talking about it in the chat. If you guys want to sound off and everything about what we're getting ready to talk about next, you can definitely jump in the chat right now. This is your moment. But the big moment We were seeing it for some weeks. A box. What is in the box? What is up with that mystery box? Honorable mention to R-Truth, though. R-Truth, he shows up as Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis. They're looking at this box. This was earlier in the night, pre-tape segment, because we got all these just ridiculous cutscenes that let you know, okay, this was obviously filmed earlier in the day or during the weekend. R-Truth pops up and he goes, I know exactly what's going on in that box. And they're like, oh, you do? What's going on? And Truth is like, oh, it smells so good. And the guys are kind of looking at him like, what the hell is this dude talking about? And R-Truth pulls out this big old, Papa John's new pan pizza. And I popped so hard seeing R-Truth do this because, I mean, he was just gold in how he did this. This was hilarious. By the way, cheap plug time. I'm going the Mick Foley route. If you guys have not tried the new Papa John's pan pizza, I actually reviewed it. It's up on the YouTube channel. It's under shorts. You can go check it out. And it's been picking up a lot of steam. I know Papa John's social media accounts themselves, like they've been checking it out and retweeting it and all of that. So it was kind of unexpected love I had got from them. So I appreciate that. But yeah, go check that out and everything. You'll thank me later. But then fast forward later on in the night. No, seriously, what is in the box? Okay. So we finally get that moment. I got to tell you, I was not expecting Chris Jericho. We already know, those of us that are at least paying attention to the reports there by Sean Ross Sapp and a couple of other reputable people, Mike Johnson, a PW Insider, and them, they're pretty much like, no. He's got some additional time added onto his contract. So anything WWE related, not going to be in the works for quite a little bit. Okay. Well, here's a name that I didn't see anybody mention, and I just quietly just kept saying to myself, well, maybe this guy is who is in the box. Maybe this guy's going to return. Karrion Kross with Scarlett. I thought maybe, just maybe, they worked something out, and that's who was going to appear. I heard some of the rumors that was running around about Danhausen. I did not want to believe that because my whole idea was, with it being so close to WrestleMania, okay, yeah, you're doing this in front of a Chicago crowd. Danhausen has he's definitely got history. He's definitely has a bit of history in Chicago, but he's not mainstream enough for the WWE audience to go, oh my God, it's fucking Danhausen. Holy shit. I didn't believe it was going to be Danhausen that was going to be in the coffin. Boy. But it was Danhausen. I mean, nice little entrance with the Danhausen girls. And, I kind of felt like I was watching an extended cut of what could have been an intro for the Monsters. Right? I mean, that's how it kind of came off. I dug it. It was nice. It was nice how WWE debuted him. It really was. There's just one problem with that. We are 50 plus days away from WrestleMania. This was not the time. This was not the place to debut a lower tier talent. And that's no disrespect to Danhausen. No disrespect. No disrespect to Danhausen. No disrespect to Danhausen fans. But this was literally one of those moments where you're like, no, man, like all cylinders need to be on fire right now. This is all about WrestleMania. Building up WrestleMania. Selling the fuck out of WrestleMania. Spinning the current narrative that's out there that WWE TKO can't sell these tickets to WrestleMania Las Vegas for shit. Like, you need to be creating those extra incentives about, no. we are in control. We got the card that you want to see at this year's WrestleMania. Don't believe us, just watch. Danhausen, if you wanted to do this on the Raw after Mania, or if you wanted to do this on SmackDown, or you wanted to do this on NXT, hell, you wanted to do this on Evolve. Fuck, you wanted to do this on Main Event, or you want to do this on Saturday night's Main Event. You want to do this on insert. I'm okay with that. But on the road to WrestleMania, Elimination Chamber, the final pit stop before WrestleMania, yeah, no, not a fan of what we got right there. And look, before anybody bombs me, and it's like, oh, Lee, you're being a dick, man. You're being mean there on Danhausen. Look, at least I'm classy with my choice of words. You look at some of the stuff that people are saying about Danhausen's debut tonight at the pay-per-view or the event. Oh my God, it's not good. I'll read to you a couple of comments right now. I made sure to bookmark these damn things. It looks really, really bad though. It looks really bad though. Hunter, I feel bad for the guy. I know they thought it would have gotten a better reaction because of Punk, but they should have just done it on Raw. Jumpman, with all due respect to Danhausen, a backstage surprise reveal segment during Raw would have sufficed. All of this weekly suspense was lackluster. Jacob, I actually thought they booed because he left, to be honest. Still, underwhelming surprise. Yeah, there were a decent amount of boos for Danhausen, which kind of made you wonder how much of that was because it was Danhausen, somebody that most of the fans in attendance there at the arena really weren't sure, was expecting something else, obviously, and they got him versus those that essentially said, oh man, this isn't what I wanted. Well, versus, well, damn, I thought you was with AEW, man. What's going on here? Like, what the hell? Triple H recently commented on Danhausen in the last couple of minutes. A direct quote: "I think we're in for a fun time." Okay, well, that's cool. That's cool. I want to pull up some of the comments that came in on one of my favorite accounts that I like to follow, Russell Ops, because Russell Ops was just like, well, what do you guys think? And I love what Smartest Mark said. Poor guy, man. WWE buried him before he even started. I hate the word buried. That's too strong of a word, but I get what he's trying to say. Like, he's definitely not off to a good start. I definitely will at least confirm that, right? A couple of other comments here. Jay, AEW didn't want him. What good will he be in WWE under Triple H creative nonetheless? Don't know where he is, so I feel a bit let down, but I'm excited to see what he does. The crowd reaction was more shocking to me. I thought they may be excited or know who he was. Yeah, no, what they did with Danhausen, this was a specific example of how well into your wrestling are you, especially when it comes to watching wrestling outside of the WWE ecosystem? How well are you paying attention to wrestling on the independents? Right? It's kind of one of those type of things. Because here's the funny part when it comes to Danhausen. Danhausen has been wrestling for a good minute. This dude's been wrestling for like almost 20 years, if not, he already has 20 years under his belt, right? So he's been at it for a while. but he really started peaking right before he got signed to AEW. What was that, 21, 22, when he got signed? And I saw some of his run in AEW, um, and I liked when he was trying to be buddy chums with Hook, and it was all quirky and all that, and eh, but they really didn't do anything with him in AEW. And then when the guy was wrestling, unfortunately, it seemed like he was getting injured and was put on the shelf for a decent amount of time. I know there was a recent injury that he suffered, and once he got that cleared, he was trying to request his release from AEW, and they were like, "Yeah, you was out because of this torn pec issue. We got to get some of that time back." I mean, look, he's going to be comedic relief. I mean, you can definitely picture him doing something with R-Truth, maybe even Otis, Akira Tozawa. He's definitely going to be, back and forth doing stuff like that. I can even see some quirkiness there, even involving Joe Hendry under the right circumstances, right? So, I mean, we'll see what happens with him. But as far as like debuts, was it a good debut for Danhausen and Danhausen's fans as far as like the overall presentation, how he was presented in? Yes. But was this the night to be doing it? No. No. New Hurricane? No, there's only one Hurricane, Shane Helms. I mean, no. No, he will not come nowhere close. Ice, he will come nowhere close to Hurricane. No. No, you can forget about that right now. One more match to talk about. Let's go there. I tried to stretch out the show a little bit. Hope you guys appreciate that. Randy Orton defeating LA Knight, Cody Rhodes, Javon Evans, Trick Williams, Logan Paul. Elimination Chamber match for the undisputed WWE Championship, WrestleMania 42. Maxed Man strikes again. We saw one Maxed Man try to climb up the steel chain structure, only to be apprehended by security detail. Adam Pearce coming out, ripping off the mask, going, "Who the hell are you?" We don't know who this guy is. We do see the mask take off. We don't know who the hell the guy is. As at this point, Logan Paul had got not one elimination, not two eliminations, but three eliminations, as he got one off the break on Javon Evans. Ultimately, LA Knight and Trick Williams. To get it down to Knight, Cody, Orton. So, while all this chaos is going on, we see another mystery man show up. The referee and his placement during this whole spot where the second Max Man comes in, I had a serious problem with it. I wish something else could have been going on with the referee. I don't want to say maybe the referee takes a bump, but what I wish could have essentially happened, I wish somehow the referee would have got attacked. Or at least the referee tries to be aggressive when he sees this other mystery person, when he finally locks eyes on him. I mean, the way the referee was positioned when this mystery man comes into the ring, he's checking. I'm trying to think who's he checking on. I believe he was checking on Warden, but don't quote me on that. He's checking in on somebody. So he sees the Max Man getting ready to come into the ring and then kind of fakes like he's checking in on the wrestler. The next thing you know, this mystery man is standing toe-to-toe across from Logan Paul, beats the crap out of Logan Paul, does the curb stomp, lays him out. Cody Rhodes is looking on, very puzzled, wondering what the hell is going on. Max Man takes off his mask, and we see that it is no other than... You missed me! Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins is back. I didn't want to say I told you so, but I know a lot of you guys were like, "Don't you wish that on us, Lee?" Hey, you need all the help that you can get right now. You need all the star power that you can get right now, as far as WrestleMania, especially with all the bad crap that's been happening with the Vision. You need all the help that you can get. So Seth Rollins back into the mix, extracting a little bit of a beginning of revenge. By the way, where the hell was Austin Theory? I'm trying to think where Austin Theory was, because Austin Theory was just doing this whole thing, chilling next to Paul Heyman. I heard Paul Heyman screaming his ass off, selling the hell out of this. Oh my God. I mean, he was just, I can't even recall if Austin Theory got taken out, because if Austin Theory did not get taken out, that just makes this really look like, dude, your man card you got punked. Like, seriously, you see your man Logan Paul getting his ass beat and you ain't going in there to try to help him. But anyway, Seth Rollins, he's back in full effect. Cody's looking on, kind of wondering what exactly was going to happen here. Understandable because of the history between Rollins and Rhodes. Rhodes just looks at him and rolls out. Cody at this point, he's going, "Hey, all right, well, I guess this is what it is here." Goes in for the cover on Logan Paul, picks up the victory. So now you're going, okay, it's now down to Cody and Randy Orton. Okay, so now we kind of know how this is going to play out, right? Well, wait a minute. Not so fast. Because shortly after that, we get Drew McIntyre. Yes, Drew McIntyre charges in there, hits Cody Rhodes with the WWE Championship. McIntyre in the process, he ends up eating a RKO as a stun. Cody Rhodes comes to his senses, hits McIntyre with a crossroads. But this ultimately sets up Randy Orton to just hit an RKO out of nowhere, get the 3 count. So Randy Orton is your winner. He is the one that's going to be facing Drew McIntyre at this year's WrestleMania. Could number 15 be on the cards there for our man Randy Orton? Sure as hell seems like it, doesn't it? By the way, I think Randy Orton had made some history tonight, if I'm not mistaken, by participating in this match for, I think once he got to a certain time in the match, he broke a John Cena record. I don't know, like most PLE time or something weird that these WWE statisticians, they're good at keeping track of and all of that. So, hey, at least they're going in that direction. Look, I'm glad that it's not Cody. I'm glad it's not Cody for another consecutive WrestleMania that's going to be fighting for the championship. I don't think they need to do a triple threat. Like, no, fuck that. Keep Cody clear from the Mania title picture scene and all that. Let him go in a different direction. But the fact that it's Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre, that definitely feels pretty fresh. I'll take it for what it's worth. I mean, not for nothing, we've seen these two lock up before, but I was here on this very show saying, hey, not for nothing, they actually, they did pretty good in their little program together. So now, how much of a factor is Aleister Black and Zelina Vega gonna have on Randy Orton on his road to WrestleMania, right? Because they've been playing the mind games with the Viper behind the scenes and all that. So is Randy really going to be able to focus on the task at hand and rise to the occasion? Or is there some black mass in his not too distant future for the RKO? We're going to have to see how that plays out. Javon Evans really did not get anything popping off in this match. And I was really, really excited because, like, of all the guys I was looking forward to the most for this men's elimination chamber match. I was really looking forward to seeing what Javon was going to be able to do here. But I mean, he was there, he was in the moment, but that pretty much was the end of it when it was all said and done. All said and done, this event a big nothing burger. I stand behind my words at the very top of the show. This event should have been going forward WWE like no more of these. No more of these. Like seriously. I would rather it be a case where once you do the Royal Rumble, just do your build up to WrestleMania. That's it. Just do your build up to WrestleMania. You don't need to do another pay-per-view. If you're going to do anything, do a Saturday night's main event joint. Just do that. Just do that. And then after that, you focus on your build to WrestleMania. This was not and anybody that's going, oh my God, this event was fantastic. This was superb. This was this was A plus. This was fuck out of here. No, it wasn't. There was a lot of things that remind you why. Yeah, we may be getting only 4 matches, but it's for very good reason, right? Because, and as I always like to say here on the show, hey, quality over quantity, right? And this is definitely a case right here where you're going, thank God it was only 4 matches that we had to deal with here for this card and everything. Yeah, a lot of the people that's participating in Elimination Chamber polls right now, overwhelmingly, like I'm checking out like different friends of the shows, their polls, like right now, majority thumbs down, including our interactive poll, which you haven't voted yet. You can go do it right now over on Twitter at the RCWR show. You can go vote. What I'm seeing right now, it's a little bit all over the place. Check this out. Right now, we've got 2% of folks that said they're skipping tonight's Elimination Chamber / they either skipped it or they're skipping it altogether. They don't plan on checking it out. Meanwhile, at 28%, we got folks giving the event a thumbs down. At 32%, we've got folks giving the event a thumbs up. You heard me right, a thumbs up, 32%. And then top dog right now at 37%. We got folks that's staying in the middle. For me, I'm giving the event a thumbs down. Seriously. I only really liked one match. And that's the crazy thing. The one match that I liked, it wasn't even the main event. The one match that I actually liked was AJ and Becky Lynch for what it was worth. That was my sleeper favorite match of the night. And an honorable mention from me would be the Punk versus Balor. But like I could have done without the rest of the card, in all honesty. Scale of 1 to 10, 1 being crap, 10 being awesome sauce, I would give Elimination Chamber a 5 out of 10. I would give this grade level. I would give this a... I would give this event a C-. That's being real nice too. C-. I'm really tempted to give it a D, but I'm willing to give it a C-. Danhausen, Mystery Men, who attacked Jacob Fatu? Or no, not Jacob Fatu. Well, no, we still have that mystery running around. Who did attack Jacob Fatu? And then we got who beat the crap out of Jey Uso, right? We got all these people that's just beating the crap out of everybody. Let's see what else we got here. Kevin wants to know this Friday, Drew McIntyre versus Cody Rhodes again. Why? So I guess they made this announcement. Well, we know why, because Cody's got to get the revenge now, right? I mean, that's what that's all about, right? Let's see what else we got here. Relentless. That was a whack pay per view. We could see the outcome thanks to all the stuff that happened on Raw and SmackDown. Yeah, yeah. Also, the crate was dumb. It was just an entrance prop. If you follow wrestling at all, you would know it was Danhausen. So dumb. You don't have to follow wrestling though, Relentless. It could have been a case, even if you were a casual wrestling fan. Like, I'll give you a perfect example. My wife at one point, and she doesn't really watch that much wrestling, and she knows a little something from her Facebook feeds when she's in and everything. And when she saw the coffin, she was like, "Oh, who's in there?" And I told her, I said, "Well, I kind of have an idea, but I'm not really sure." And she said, "Oh, okay, well, well, this should be interesting." And I actually said to her, I said, "Anybody you're thinking of in particular that could be in there? Anybody that maybe you'd like to see?" And even she said, "Well, honestly, I hope it's Karrion Kross." And I said, "Really?" She said, "Yeah, I hope it's Karrion Kross." And then she said, "Hey, not for nothing, but didn't Aleister Black used to be in a coffin too?" And I said, "Holy shit." I said, "Yeah, you're actually right." And it was under the Vince McMahon regime, but yeah, Aleister a long time ago. He used to, you know, I think come from out of a coffin or kind of rise in a way where he was kind of suggesting he was coming from out of a coffin almost. Like, yeah. So I don't know. Let's see what else we got here. Let's going through some more comments. What else we got here? Now I gotta look up that old stuff with Aleister Black. Remember the Crypt Keeper sound when he would rise from the fog? Yeah, he did used to come out of a fucking coffin. Yes. Yes, the coffin, it was an open coffin. Yes. Yes, it was an open fucking coffin. I remember now. Holy shit. Let's see. What else we got here? Let's see. Scrolling down here. Aleister's gonna run in on Randy Orton, so he loses to McIntyre and Seth. Rollins is gonna run in on Punk, so Roman Reigns wins the title. I don't think they're gonna go that route with Rollins. Rollins is just so infuriated right now with everything that's happened with the Vision that I think when it's all said and done, I wouldn't be surprised if going into WrestleMania season, Rollins is maybe put in a position where he's got to do some type of a tag match. He's got to find a partner, and he's got to go up against Austin Theory and Logan Paul. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe that's what could be down the pipeline, right? But they did a little something that's going to make you want to check out WWE Raw this week. Get a few answers here and there. Look, we know we're going to have Roman Reigns in the house. So we know by default Punk is going to be in the house. What's next for AJ Lee? Where does Becky Lynch go from here? Is she automatically going to want a rematch, right? We got all that going on. Stephanie's response to Liv Morgan's cheap attack from last week. Now that Liv Morgan has let it be known, yo, tag, I'm going to see you at WrestleMania, right? Where does Finn Balor go from here? with Judgment Day. Let's not forget Penta takes on Dominic Mysterio for the Intercontinental Championship. So we got a pretty interesting edition of Monday Night Raw that's on the horizon. So at least we got that to look forward to. But yeah. So we got that show in the pipeline, and we'll be live for that as soon as it goes off the air. Meanwhile, I want to definitely give a shout out to friends of the show. Definitely give a shout out to our sponsors as well, because without them, content like what you're checking out right now would not be made possible. I could have so ended this show a long time ago, but I didn't want to do you guys dirty like that and just let it be all about me and not get y'all's interactions in there. So, but this is still definitely a very short post show that we have done. Probably one of the shortest in recent memory. Shout out to the good folks over there at Questions for Cancer Doctors via Q4CD.com. If you've recently been diagnosed with prostate cancer, before making treatment decisions, get clarity from someone who's been there. At Questions for Cancer Doctors, that's Q4CD.com. You can touch base with Dr. Williams, a retired lieutenant colonel and radiation oncologist. Helps men and veterans understand their options and ask the right questions before moving forward. They also have a pamphlet book that you can download for more information, as well as if you decide you want to ultimately schedule a private one-on-one consultation, you'll be able to do that at Q4CD.com. Q4CD.com, because the right questions leads to the right decisions. Proud sponsor of the RCWR show with Lee Sanders. We're also brought to you in part by my friend at KatrinaSpiritualCounseling.com. Backed by over 20 years of experience. Her sessions provide straightforward, no sugarcoating insight into the past, present, future. So if you are going through some stuff, work, relations-wise, relationship-wise, financial stuff taking its toll, you definitely pick her brain and she'll give you some really good, solid advice. You can check her out by visiting KatrinaSpiritualCounseling.com or give her a ring at 877-275-7562. So your next edition of the RCWR show with Lee Sanders. I'll be live with you guys on Monday night, March 2nd, 2026, as soon as WWE Raw goes off the air. I am getting questions, last minute questions right now about thoughts on Logan versus Seth. Goblin, I think I already tackled that. I'm not sure how long you've been listening, but I had said going into WrestleMania, they are likely going to go in a direction where it could very well be Seth Rollins taking on Logan Paul. It could be in the form of a tag match, because we still don't definitively know what exactly is going on there with Austin Theory. So until something different drastically happens with Theory, then we have to assume that at this point it's going to be Logan Paul and maybe a mystery tag partner. That is, who is going to align themselves, put their differences, beef or whatever to the side, join forces with Seth Rollins and take on Logan Paul and potentially Austin Theory at WrestleMania, right? But if you want me to get more into the weeds about a potential, well, no, what about just Seth Rollins and Logan Paul one-on-one? I can answer that on the Monday show. So, meanwhile, be kind, rewind. Check out previous episodes of the RCWR show you might have missed on demand and on the downloads, wherever you get your podcasts. Just search the RCWR show. If you enjoyed this, please hit the likes, retweet, give me a follow over there on Twitter. Show the YouTube channel some love as well, youtube.com/the RCWR show. If you haven't subscribed over there, please do so. Begin in the habit of uploading more shorts, more content, all that good stuff, some clip excerpts, all that good jazz. So, matter of fact, I finally uploaded from the Monday show, the great... And I thought I was going on and on and on about this, but no, it ended up just being like 4 minutes. that I was breaking down the Bronson Reed injury. And when you go back and you look at that clip that's now available, you just keep in the back of your mind that I'm talking about everything that's going on with this injury Monday night, dealing with it in real time. And then think about where we are now with Bronson Reed. It's just kind of one of those, yeah, Lee was on his shit on that one. Like, okay, good thing there, dude. Like, so go check that out. I was actually pretty proud of how we handled the talk of Bronson Reed's latest injury there. That is going to do it. Get at me all throughout social media. Use the keywords, the RCWR show. And until next go around, my pretty babies, wishing all y'all to be safe. Most importantly, be kind to one another. I will see you guys next go round. Take care.